Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to tutorials. This is Fight On 2016 coming at you, talking about the NFL betting slash DFS model. So, as you've seen from previous models, such as our baseball model, this NFL model is very similar. You have your teams in this column. The model, it spits out what I expect the points of the team to be, what my expected spread, which is just a pretty simple calculation between the two teams, the money line, and the total. Then we go over here to Vegas, and we have the spread, total, which we can then figure out the implied points, and as well from the spread, or we have the money line that we pull from Vegas. Over to our right here is kind of where we get into the analysis of everything, and so I'm going to start out with the far right columns. And so in the middle here we have M, which is the Vegas win percentage, which, as we've seen before, is just a calculation off of the money line to turn it into percentage terms that makes it easy. So for example, in our Thursday night game, Vegas expects there's a 53% chance that Philly will win and a 50% chance that Atlanta will win. Obviously, it's greater than 1 due to the spread that Vegas needs to take in order to make profit. To the right, in column N, we have our winning percentage, which is taken off our money line calculation off of our spread. To the right of it, we'll have a win percentage difference. Basically, whether or not there is value in what we see, like we saw in WNBA, or we're currently seeing in MLB. We kind of want to target plays that are over 5. So, for example, we would have Philly, this is Pittsburgh, New England, Minnesota, Seattle, and that's it so far. The model has a lot of moving elements, and so it changes from day to day. And what happens when it gets highlighted as a play? Obviously, we do fundamental analysis. This 9.53% EV factors in the Le'Veon Bell plays. If Le'Veon Bell does not play, this play just gets erased off the board. To the right, we have the spread difference. And so what we want to see is the highest negative number. So basically what we're doing is we're taking the Vegas spread and subtracting our spread, adding our spread, subtracting our spread to give us the spread difference. Or we're taking our spread, we're subtracting Vegas's spread, and that gives us our spread difference. This is another way to picture win percentage difference, because most of the people that we see on money line are favorites, and so we're not going to take a minus 267 New England Patriot money line. Instead, we would take the spread. And like I said again, this is all subject to more fundamental deep dive research. And the last column we have over here is the total difference. And so, like you can probably imagine, if it's a high positive number, the model likes the over. And if it's a low negative number, the model likes the under. So we've seen a massive move in the under in the Baltimore-Buffalo game. The over-under started around 44, and now it's dropped down to 40.5. Our model is very much in line when the opening line started, and has stayed pretty stagnant over the week, which puts the over in impossible play territory, but also more so in DFS. We're seeing the under possibility in the Indy-Cincinnati game, and then the over possibility in the Carolina-Dallas game. And now going to kind of the meat of what I want to talk about here. So that's the betting angle. Most of my picks that'll come from NFL will come from those picks, will come from the green boxes that you will see there. Not all of the green boxes are going to get picked. Obviously, there is some analysis and deep dives that need to go further to really get at the core of what I want to play. However, what I want to take the bulk of my time on is to look at DFS and possible GPP strategy, because we have a milli maker every week. We have these tournaments where you have 200,000 people, and as much as I want us all just to play Brady, 20% of people are going to play Brady. That's, if you do the math, 40,000 entrants are going to play Brady. And will he win a GPP? He might. But we need to look at other stacks or other angles that aren't as chalky. And so that's where this model can really play a role, because one of the main things that this model can find is the games that have a total of 39, 40, 41 that actually score 48, 49, 50. And those are the games where you're going to see a 2% owned quarterback possibly winning a GPP. And so we're going to kind of go into a little game by game, or kind of through some of the picks that I've identified as possible targets, and then we'll move over to the domination station over here and kind of look at ownership and kind of how that will play a role in what we do. So obviously my model, so basically what I like to do is I like to create these lists. So I like to create the biggest positive point difference, the highest total from my model, and the lowest total. So starting with the highest totals, the 3 chalky teams or the 4 chalky teams that we expect to score a lot of points, that are going to have massive ownerships, are the Saints, the Patriots, the Vikings, and Steelers. They're chalk for a reason. Vegas expects them to score very high, and so we need to have exposure to them, but so is everyone else. There is really no edge there. Everyone knows who Brady throws to. Everyone knows who Breeze throws to. There's a little bit of variation in the Vikings. Everyone who knows who Ben throws to. There's very little angle or edge you're going to get from targeting those offenses. However, if we look down at number 5, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, everyone and their mother has been talking about playing Baltimore D against Buffalo. Sorry, switch there. And yes, they are the chalk. They are probably going to be 20, 30, 40% owned. Buffalo sucks. They're starting Peterman. This should be just a blowout. But no one's really thinking about targeting the offensive players. And my model thinks that they're going to score about 25 points. And what we've seen this offseason is Baltimore has really gone out and acquired quality people, quality players in the receiving core to really help Joe Flacco out. So let's go over real quick to the domination station. And so, as you can see, like I said, Tom Brady has a projected ownership of about 19%. So let's go find Flacco. So Joe Flacco, salary of $4,900, projected ownership 1%. That's low. For a team that you expect to put up 25 points, I understand you might think that Alex Collins is going to get the majority of the points, the carries, and so maybe you want to play Alex Collins at 5,600 at a little chalkier ownership. I understand that. However, I will probably have between 10 and 15% Flacco, just due to the fact that the model expects them to score 25 points. And if they score, 28 or 35 points, which the model sees only 25 as the average, and so you tail out from there the standard deviations. You could win a tournament with Flacco, and then you combine him with his receiving mates. So you have Crabtree, who we expect to have a 7% ownership at 5,400, and then Sheriff John Brown, who we have at a 3% ownership at 3,700. So again, Millie Maker, we need these people that are going to be low owned, that have a good shot at helping you take down the million. So let's go back to the model. So like we said, these 4 teams are chalk. We all know who to play. I talked through Baltimore. Now let's go through the biggest positive point differences, because these are the places the model sees as scoring higher than where Vegas is. And it's 5 again. We have Baltimore. No shock there. They think Baltimore is a great play. At the top of the list, we have Seattle, who on the model, let's go to their game. They are projected, or Vegas has them as 3-point underdogs, and the model sees this as a pick'em game. The model has Seattle scoring 22.2 points, whereas Vegas has them scoring 20 points, which is a very low score. So this is another spot where we can, target the passing game, where most people probably won't target the passing game. So if we look at, Russell Wilson, you get him a 4% ownership as a really solid quarterback at $6,200. And you pair him with his best friend, Mr. Doug Baldwin, 6,200, 6.5 projected ownership. Remember, Aqib Talib is gone, so that DVP is a little much. Let's go back and let's look at one more thing. So we go back to the list, and so Buffalo, right? So Buffalo, we're expected to score 18. Vegas has 16. Yes, there's a difference there, and if you want to take a shot at some wide receiver who might, light it up, go ahead, but it wouldn't be a core play, as you can see that they are the lowest total. Baltimore D is chalk for a reason. I expect them to dominate. However, 3 and 4 play each other. So Dallas and Carolina, basically what Vegas sees is a game at 42.5, and the model sees at 45.5, which would rank it, up there in the top echelon of games. Vegas and the model both see Carolina winning, between 2.5 to 3 points. And so this is also a spot where we can, get our ownership. So this is a spot where most people are going to play the runners in this game. So as we can, go over here, Ezekiel Elliott, we're expecting about 7.5%, and then Christian McCaffrey is going to be at about 7%. I think that's actually low for him. I think he'll be a lot higher than that. But though the 2 running backs are a good spot, Cam Newton, we're expecting 4% ownership. And Dak, we're expecting 4% ownership. The receiver I would target out of Dallas is Terrence Williams, which 0.2% ownership easily could win you a GPP if he goes off. The reason why I say he's the one is because Carolina struggles really on the right side of the offense and on short passes, which will allow Terrence Williams to just eat up, especially on DK where you have PPR. I expect him to eat. On Carolina, it really starts with Cam, Christian McCaffrey, and then Devin Funchess. To add a deep threat, I would add Torrey Smith into some plays, which again, at 0.6%.